What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. It's Home Dad Robbie here with my indefinitely your favorite son. He has decided to give me a call, which you saw in the teaser, and I couldn't help but bring him onto the show. And I know I talk a lot. Please, your favorite son, if you wouldn't mind saving this.
Hi, Dad. It's me, your favorite son.
See, like how can you not love that? Uh, no, I can't lie. That's what like that one line, for as simple as it is. I'm not gonna talk about it too much right now because it has its own section. But uh, that one line is what drew my attention to you. I find your videos not only very interesting, but they suit the style that I look for. I like watching long videos. Anything 3, 4, 5 hours long is my business, which, to be honest with you, I can't wait for the however long the complete Silent Hill retrospective is going to be.
Yeah, it's gonna be long, very long.
But, like I said, you have agreed to come on to the show, do an interview with me. It's been a while since I've done an interview. I think easily at least 6 years. I might be a little rusty, but I think it's going to be fun all the same. The usual gist of my interviews is that my goal is to bridge any gaps that may come up between somebody who just happens to find the interview and doesn't know who you are and your actual channel.
Mm.
I myself find you very interesting, so I'm sure other people will find you very interesting.
I hope so.
I usually start my videos with, kind of giving the audience an idea of who I'm talking to, usually asking about background and stuff. Uh, Let me go ahead and pull up the old handy notepad. So, young
So,
son,
yes.
what was it like when you were actually a young son growing up?
Um, what was it like? It was, I don't know, it was interesting. I lived in I lived in rural places a lot, small towns, jumped around from small town to small town kind of thing. Um, always the new kid at school. Um, and eventually I found, some friends, some cool friends, and we did some cool stuff, and we got into some cool trouble. um, yeah, I don't know. It was pretty average. I had a pretty average childhood, I think.
How many high schools did you go to?
Most of my jumping around was pre middle school. It was elementary school. Like, I think I went to one, two, three, like 5 or 6 different schools before middle school, and then middle school I stayed for a few years, and then moved again once in high school.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask about the varying levels of different high schools you went to, but I don't know if you remember too much about elementary school.
A little bit, I guess. Probably as much as everybody else does.
Well, surely in between that time you had to have at least had some interesting events. What would you say, was a good memory from when you were a child? One of your cherished memories, if you will.
Good memory. I so when I think about when I think about being a kid, for some reason I think about when I was in like third grade, and me and my friends were really into Yu-Gi-Oh at the time, and we got those dual discs for
Oh
for
no.
Christmas one year. Those strap-on arm dual discs, and we just had some grand old times with the dual discs, and yeah, it was fun. That was a good product. I want to say that. I think that was a good product.
I mean, it wasn't a well-made product. I had one. It
No.
was cheap.
Yeah, they were cheap.
But, there was something to be said about, the old merch from things like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon.
Yeah.
I will ask,
Yeah.
though, what would you prefer? Some nerd coming to school wearing the dual disc and, like, being ready to duel? Or Naruto runners?
I think as like cringy as it probably is to wear a dual disc in public, I think which I might start doing actually. I think now that you're talking about it, I think I'm gonna bring that back. I'm gonna use it as an accessory here from here on out. But I think Yu-Gi-Oh is pretty based as far as card games go. I had a disc. I had a like one of the Yu-Gi-Oh like movie discs, or I think it was like a season of the show, but they released the seasons in like parts. So season 1 would be like 3 parts, and it would have like 7 episodes or something,
Right.
and and I had one of those for the show, and I remember whenever you would put it into a CD player, it would just play the soundtrack, and I used to listen to it all the time. I used to listen to the soundtrack all the time. The soundtrack was so fucking good.
I think
These like
I had
Egyptian
that.
themes. Yeah. There was a lot of stuff like that back in the day where like if you put it into a CD player, it would just play the soundtrack. Which I don't even know how that works, but
It's a CDI disc, or it's a or compact disc. My bad. It just has it's a DVD, but it has the audio files on it. So if you put it
okay.
in, it just reads it as a compact disc.
Interesting. Yeah, I always thought that was insane when I was a kid. I was like, what? I felt like I was unlocking like a secret thing that nobody else had, you know?
Did you ever play Monster Hunter? Or no, not Monster Hunter, Monster Rancher. My apologies.
I didn't. I haven't really played Monster Hunter or Monster Rancher.
Monster Hunter, you can leave or take. I'm not a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
But Monster Rancher, on the other hand, was really cool because it had this. What it was is you put the game in, and the monsters came from CDs.
Oh,
So
yeah. Okay.
so you put the game in and you start it, and you go to this menu, and then you open the disc tray up, and like say you put Harry Potter, the DVD of Harry Potter in your PlayStation. It would
Oh.
read the disc and actually give you like this owl creature, like to
Okay.
tie into Harry Potter. And there were CDs that could give you special monsters. There was movies.
It's like Amiibos before Amiibos were a thing.
Remember Scanners with a Z?
I do, yeah. So we were just talking. Me and my friends were just talking about those the other day.
Oh,
That was a pretty crazy, like ahead of its time ass product. Like that was nuts.
who would think though? Like some jackass marketer, but who would
Yeah.
think they'd be like, you know what parents want? They want to take their kids to the grocery store so they can run around and scan everything in sight.
Yeah. I mean that's insane. It's insane. I don't know. I feel like Scanners is something I would probably get into now if it were a thing. I would be like, I need that for sure.
I can't remember his name. I think his name is Billiam. He did a video on the scanners. He went to a Disney store and scanned everything
Yeah.
and got, I think, either a monster or no monsters.
Oh shit.
They are cool. I wouldn't mind
Yeah.
having one, but they're not very,
Yeah,
not
they
very
didn't
useful
last.
nowadays. But I mean, in all fairness, they didn't work back then.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of the memories I have as a kid are around like products and games, oddly enough, which I don't know. Maybe that's probably bad, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, not necessarily. So I guess it's pretty safe to assume that your family was fairly open to things like that. You didn't have to worry about your parents disapproving or anything.
Yeah, not really. I mean, they didn't really care. And I think I was kind of like I'm pretty I guess young in this sphere or whatever. You know, I think a lot of the people that like do this stuff are kind of older. But I kind of grew up. I'm like an old Gen Zer. Like I'm the oldest of the Gen Z. You know what I mean? Like I think I'm just at the cutoff, something like that. So like when I was a kid, you know, I didn't get internet until I was like, I don't know, maybe in like third grade or something like that. Like it was still super early, but it wasn't a huge thing yet. So I think my parents didn't even. It wasn't even like a thing yet that like we need to protect them from that, you know. That wasn't even like a consideration yet, or protecting you from like TV or anything. They were just like whatever.
Just whatever.
I was kind of allowed to watch whatever I wanted. My mom was a little bit more like, you know, worried about like me playing like bad games, but my dad, he didn't give a shit. He let me play Grand Theft Auto and watch South Park and stuff.
See, I remember growing up, my dad was never really strict about movies. Like, if I wanted to see, like, old horror movies and stuff like that, slasher flicks, that was never a problem. You know, I'll show them to you. But when, I remember distinctly when Grand Theft Auto 3 came out, he was like, I can't let you play that. Like, you know, it's no good. You do bad, so I can't let you play that.
Yeah.
But of course, I ended up playing it because I was a kid. I had a friend who had it. You know,
Of course. Always happens.
Yeah, it always happens. When that happened, when that wall came down, I remember like a couple years later, I had an Xbox. I'd moved on from PlayStation, got my first Xbox, and he got me the like whatever the Ultimate Edition like back then was, the Platinum Edition of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas for the Xbox.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Those like silver cased ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was basically when he was just like, all right, you can kind of just play whatever, just don't get too crazy with it. And then Manhunt happened. That was fun.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
But no, I also had a father who was pretty accepting. He mostly played arcade games though. He started Resident Evil 0 when I was a kid. Couldn't get off the train. Couldn't get the ice pick to get off the train, and never to this day will be like, I got lost. I don't know what to do, so I just gave up.
Yeah. My dad. There was probably a point in my life where my dad was more into video games than I was, and I mean, even now he still like plays games every once in a while. Like there'll be like a new game, like I think Borderlands 3 that came out, and he was like, "Oh, I'm getting that. I want to play that." But when I was a kid, he played a lot of games. We played a lot of games together. He played a ton of video games.
Well, I'm guessing since you have spent a good amount of time playing video games, it's probably, again, safe to assume that, you have some really good memories involving video games. What I want to ask, was there any games that you would say, were formative, taught you a lesson that actually translated into real life in some way, shape, or form?
Yeah, Tekken 3 taught me to beat the shit out of people. No,
that's my son.
Yeah, I don't know. When I was young, a lot of the games I didn't even like pay attention to, and I was like, I was like, what is I don't even know what's going on. But I think like when I got to like middle school era, the Kingdom Hearts games definitely affected me. As I think they did like everybody I knew around that age. And that was kind of, I wasn't an anime kid. I didn't get into anime until I got out of high school, but that was kind of the first time that I remember experiencing something anime-like that people were like disapproving of. Like it was a little too Japanese, like you're playing that, like that kind of thing. And I even did that to other people with Kingdom Hearts. Like my friends would be playing Kingdom Hearts and I was like, dude, that's bro, what are you fucking doing, dude? That's fucking no. Um, but yeah, like yeah. So I mean, but obviously, Kingdom Hearts has its own like sort of messages. But I remember, I remember that really resonating with me, and just the whole experience, like how long those games were at the time, and that was like a new, that was kind of like a new thing for me, being like, holy, like this is a lot of game here. Yeah, I think that was probably a pretty big one.
I remember, this is how old I am. I remember when Kingdom Hearts was 50% a fucking Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
God, I miss those days. I hate it. I hate that. I don't know. I didn't like Kingdom Hearts 3. And, like, it was just in Kingdom Hearts 1, there was a lot of Final Fantasy characters. Kingdom Hearts 2, there were some.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then 3, they just said, fuck y'all. Y'all can't come to our game no more.
Yeah, they're just out. I will say one is kind of unplayable for me now a little bit.
What? That's the best one. Well,
Yeah.
no, 2 is the best one. But what?
Two's the best one. One is so the man, the controls are really dated. Like they're fucking, it's floaty as hell. It's really weird to interface with. It's a game that like you'd look at and you'd be like, oh, this game doesn't seem that dated, and then
Yeah.
you play it and you're like, ooh, it's a little rough. It's not too bad, but it's just like I don't really. There's not that big of a need to play it for me.
I feel that. I guess that's probably...
Metal. Okay, you know what? You want to know a better one?
Yeah.
A better one was Metal Gear Solid 4. And I'll talk about this someday in a video. Because I'm gonna talk about the Metal Gear series eventually. People keep asking me. It's gonna happen eventually. But Metal Gear Solid 4 had a huge effect on me. Because I had played the Metal Gear Solid games when I was a kid, and I played them with my dad. And then me and my sister, the day it came out, we went down to the video store and we rented it. And we knew we only had a certain amount of time to beat it, so we had to beat it. And just like so many things, that game really represented like a change in generation, in like console generation, because like, you know, just booting it up, you're installing a game now, and that was like, whoa, what the fuck is this? You know, the whole Blu-ray disc gag that Otacon does, like halfway
Snake,
through
you
the
need to
game.
change to disc 2.
Yeah, and we freaked out. We were like, did we miss the other disc at the store? Do we have to go back? And just like the end of it, and when he's like crawling, you know, through the heaters and like, or the microwave things or whatever, it was just really, as a kid, seeing Snake kind of like humanized was a really strange experience. And seeing that video game characters can be humanized like that, and they can grow and change over time, and they can be these dynamic people, and it was a lot. It was a lot. Yeah.
I miss good Kojima games.
Yeah. I mean, he's still doing stuff. He's still out there. You don't like Death Stranding, I assume?
You know what? I love it with you. I just ain't even played it. I don't have
Really?
I don't have the means to. My computer is too bobo to play it on it. And well, I guess I could dig my PS4 out of the closet.
Yeah, it's worth it. I would say it's worth it. It's a good game. It's
All
a really
I've heard
good
is
game.
it's bad.
Don't believe what people tell you. It's it's a psyop.
Oh, good.
It's a psyop.
All right, so I guess we already know that, you know, we can expect a Death Stranding retrospective coming soon. Thank you for that, son.
Maybe eventually. It's a psyop. It's a psyop. It's a CIA. The CIA is putting misinformation out there to make you think that Death Stranding's bad, but it's actually really good.
Well, maybe one day I'll get to it, but until then, I got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, that's true.
But speaking of, you know, newer games, you talked about it a minute ago. The experience. The experience of playing a video game. The experience of starting that story and ending it and actually feeling fulfilled and actually feeling like, you know, you learned something or you connected to a character or the world and that it mattered. I don't ever really get that feeling much anymore because they don't really make games that are built for people like that. Do you ever feel like that anymore?
Um, I do. I do. There's glimpses of it. I think it's not as strong as it once was. But there's glimpses of it in games. And it's kind of like there used to be a lot of games or a handful of games that would give you these really intense experiences that would really challenge your perception of what the world could be or what a game could be or things like that. And now it's kind of like every game has a little bit of that, you know. It's like it's like they all fragmented and just shards of them are in everything. And that's, I mean, you make the case that that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think like as divisive as it was, as controversial as it was, as fan panned or fan loved or critic loved, I think The Last of Us 2 was the last game that I thought about and talked about a lot after it came out. I mean, it was months after that game came out, and me and my friends were still talking about it, still having conversations about it, still debating it. You know, there's scenes that are pretty vivid in my mind that stick out. So I think, you know, for better or worse, I think that game has a lot of the experience sort of thing. And there's definitely negatives to it. There's definitely story issues, and there's definitely gameplay issues and all that. But I think it was probably pretty it was trying to say something. And that's
it was definitely trying to say something.
It was trying to say something, and I think that's more than a lot of games do nowadays anyways, so.
I don't know. I mean, I will say, because I'm an Xbox player, I spend 99% of my time playing on Xbox and like 1% on my computer. There are games on PlayStation that are very story driven that I probably would benefit from playing.
Mm.
Man, I just don't play PlayStation like that ever. I got games on my PlayStation, bought the complete edition of Street Fighter so I could play Street Fighter, and I'll never play it.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, there's some games that are worth it. Like, I think I mean, but they're all so, the issue with PlayStation is they're all so, like, they're good, but they're like all so bland. They're all so dry. They all look really real, and they all have like an open world and, like, you know, little nodes that you have to travel to, and like they're all just like reskins of the same game. It's just it gets tiring after a while. Like, they're good stories. A lot of them are pretty good stories, but they're just so, they don't have like a soul. There's no, it's like a husk. It's like,
at that point you might as well just be watching a movie.
Yeah, exactly. They're like movies that are pretty good, you know. But
no,
they're not
I completely
great
agree
games.
with that statement.
Yeah.
Pointing the Xbox. Love it. Anyways, so, you know, you spent a lot of time growing up. You know, I'm sure, you know, you had friends and such. When did you kind of get into the YouTube sphere? When did you start watching YouTube?
Well, that started when I was in like middle school, I think. Maybe a little earlier, but I definitely have a lot more memories of like sitting down at my computer and like checking my subscriptions for the day, you know. And it was a lot. It started to get a lot in middle school, you know, and then high school. And you know, now it's just it's just like TV. It's just like Netflix, or
Yeah.
it's a whole, it's its own form of entertainment and media. That I would argue, you know, I've had conversations with people that are much older than me that don't even understand that YouTube is like a main source of entertainment for a lot of young people, and it's just like it's a huge thing. But I mean, what fucking lukewarm take is that YouTube is really big? But yeah, I don't know. I started watching it a lot in middle school, and I don't know. I just loved it. I think, you know, especially the early YouTube really captured sort of the like home video, like the spirit of like Jackass, you know, sort of the home video, like your friend's Super 8 kind of thing. And it was a little more gonzo then, and it was really fun. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
I know exactly what you mean. See, this is a fun window into my past that I doubt it'll ever be found because of how long ago it was uploaded. But you know, who knows? People might surprise you. I was a kid. Like, I don't remember how young I was. I want to say it was like 8th or ninth grade. Me, my older brother, and one of our neighbors, like neighbor kid who played bass, gathered up in my room. I set up this like $89 camera I'd gotten for Christmas. My brother played guitar. The other kid played bass, and I sang, and it was punk. There was no structure to it. We were just fucking beating our instruments and screaming.
Yeah.
But it was called hardcore porn.
That's funny.
And the first video that I ever uploaded to YouTube, not associated with any channel that I can remember, was a hardcore porn music video.
Oh, yeah. That's nice. Yeah, we did some stuff. We did some stuff when I was younger on YouTube in middle school. I don't think it's on YouTube anymore. If anybody tries to find it. But we did like some Jackass ripoff stuff. And then we did, and then I had a channel, where I started uploading, Let's Plays when I was like 12 or 13 or something like that. These are definitely deleted because I 100% deleted them off of the internet. But it was like I had like a Legend of Grimrock Let's Play. I don't know if you know what that game is.
Okay.
Yeah. I had just some Minecraft Let's Plays.
Obviously.
I think. Yeah, of course. And I think that was it. And yeah, the channel didn't do very well, but you know.
Well, one of the questions I had is when you, like, you know, hey, you seem to have fun with YouTube. When did you fucking start YouTube? Well, hey, I liked YouTube, so I started YouTube. That's the answer to that question.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I think I just always had, like, I think my whole, the more and more I think about it, because like I like to tell people that like I just started it one day. But the more and more I like reflect on it and think about it these days, I always wanted to. Like I always wanted to. You know, since I was in middle school, I really wanted to.
I know that feeling.
But I was kind of embarrassed. I was kind of nervous, you know. I was kind of like I knew I had all the capabilities to like do this, and like I had messed around with like video editors. Like I knew I could figure it out if I tried. I was obsessed with writing because I wanted to be like a novelist when I was in high school. So I'd written for a really long time, you know, recording, like all that stuff. I knew I could do it. It was just like, it took me so long to just do it. And yeah, I just, for so long, I just looked up to all these people that sort of had these like these interesting channels that were making like cool stuff, and like I want to do something like that, like whether it was like video games or like comedy or like, even being back in like high school, like early high school, and seeing like MDE videos and just being like, fuck dude, these guys are doing the shit, these guys are doing the coolest shit. And just like, I don't know, and then finally I guess I just got sick of sitting around and did it.
Yeah, I know that. Like, I know that exact feeling. I know everything you're talking about. Yeah, I've uploaded a good fair amount of videos to YouTube that are no longer a part of the internet because I remember one time there was one in particular. I'm not going to talk about it because I'm not exactly sure if it's been deleted, and I never want that found.
Yeah.
But long story short, my dad found it, but he didn't find it. His woman, well, no, they're married now. Is my stepmom. Uh, she came home one day because at her job, somebody came in and was like, "Hey, your stepson is on YouTube."
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And came home, showed my dad. I came home from school. Dad's like, "So, anything you want to tell me? Anything you've been getting into? What's the deal?" And then he said the name of like what I was going by.
Hmm.
Oh man, it was enough to make me never upload another video.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, there's just this weird, like, I don't know, there's this, like, weird stigma where it's like, you can't, don't try anything creative, because if you do, you're gonna be bad at it, because you're not like them. And, like, just don't even try. Why would you try? You can't. The odds are so low that you shouldn't even fucking try. And I think the only thing that got me out of that was I moved like 8 hours away from my hometown, and I had there was like I had nobody. I didn't know anybody. I wasn't around my friends. I was not really talking to my friends from my hometown that much, just because I had so much going on. And I was just like, well, okay, well, who the fuck is going to make fun of me now? Like, who cares? Like, there's nobody that's going to make fun of me. Like, I might as well just fucking do this. And I did it, and my friends didn't even make fun of me anyways, because that wasn't something they would do, and it was just something that, I crafted in my own head.
Yeah, I'm a very optimistic person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a go-getter, if you will. I'm just very slow about it. I'm like a sloth, slow but deadly. And
Tortoise.
I get what you're saying. But it is fun to be creative, and you really shouldn't give a fuck what people think, because the fact of the matter
No.
is that this whole platform is built on just not giving a fuck what people think, because people used to be able to
Exactly.
just upload any old shit. And I kind of feel that. I feel that to my very core, and I've decided that, son, I'd like to have a little fun today.
Okay.
So I got a fan question for you. I have a gentleman. Well, you know what? I have a few gentlemen who I have coerced in some way, shape, or form to come and join us today on the show and ask you some questions.
Fantastic.
And I feel like now would be a great time for that first one.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play the clip so everybody can see it, and then we'll gather your response.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, so bear with me one moment, and we can roll it. Everybody, please put your hands together for the host with the most, who's too kind to boast, your friend and mine, showman Robbie. Yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the interview. I was asked by homeboy Robbie to come and join y'all tonight and deliver our questions straight from the fans to your favorite son. Now, I'm sure a lot of y'all don't know this, but I've been pretty busy setting up the internet's newest game show. I'd buy that for $1. But tonight, I want to play a different game. Your favorite son, come on down to the stage. You're the next contestant on the newest game show I'm hosting. What's the meaning behind your name?
Now, it's a very simple game. All you have to do is explain the meaning behind your favorite son.
Okay. The meaning behind your favorite son. Well, there was a meaning, but I'm not allowed to talk about it anymore because I got a Pepsi sponsorship, and they actually own the trademark. So if you want to know the meaning, you have to go to Pepsi.com and look at the Your Favorite Son tab, and they'll tell you. And it has something to do with one of their new flavors.
Are you gonna be like, fuck, what's the wrestler's name with the Pepsi logo on his shoulder?
Oh, I don't know.
CM Punk.
Oh, yeah.
You going?
Yeah, I guess I'll be giving pipe bombs all day.
No, like I mentioned at the start of this, your name was what drew me into your channel because I'm a simple fellow. I just like to think that everybody in the world is good and wholesome. And I heard that the first time. I just clicked on it because it was a Silent Hill video. I didn't even really care who you were. I just was like, oh no, Silent Hill's like 2 hours long. Cool. No, it wasn't Silent Hill. It was your Kane video, because your Kane video was 3 fucking hours, almost 4.
Yeah, it was like 3.5 hours.
I was taken back by how long it was. I found your Silent Hill videos later, but I found your Kane one first. Didn't care who you were. But your tagline, your intro, that was enough to pique my imagination, and I was like, wow, that kind of makes me think like, this person's like, here, man, this is a video game that I really like, and I'm just dying to tell you about it, like a kid would, do for their dad. And we all have people we love. We all have people we want to show dumb stuff to. Ask my wife. I have endless dumb things I'd like to show her. But,
yeah.
No, I heard that, and, the more I got to listening to your videos, I was like, yeah, this, it's all fun. It's all wholesome. I feel like I'm just going to have to go to Pepsi.com now. But
you are.
It can wait. It can wait.
No, I mean it's there's a lot there to extrapolate on or whatever. I mean, I think it's better if people take what they want to take from it. I think it's better if I know that we live in like not that I'm doing anything like artistically crazy or anything. But we kind of live in a culture where people like want everything explained to them, like if you go to YouTube, you'll find a million like A24 movies explained videos, and like you go to Barnes and Noble and there's like the philosophy of Harry Potter and shit, and just terrible books that you can buy. But I think it's better if you glean your own meaning from it. It's an interpretive message. You take whatever you want from it. You tell me what it means.
You're so good. I would say you were raised right, but I've been getting cigarettes for the past 12 years. So I wanted to go ahead and, focus on your channel here. You do have a lot of time put into your channel. As I've mentioned quite a few times now, you do long videos.
Yes.
Out of all those videos, out of all that watch time, what would you say is your favorite?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pick, and, I should just say the video that's about to be out this Sunday.
Oh.
But I don't think that's really true, and I'd rather be genuine. I don't want to be disingenuous or anything. But I think probably Max Payne. Max Payne's probably my favorite video. I've thought about that a lot, and I think that one just really got me through the situation that I was going through at the time. that video kind of came out at a really weird time in my life. I had a lot of stuff going on. It was probably that video came out around one of the worst times ever in my life, oddly enough. And my life was kind of like crumbling down around me while this YouTube thing was taking off. So I was in a really weird spot because everything sucked for the first time in my life. But this new venture was like exploding, and I was like, what is happening? Like, I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know if I should be happy or upset. And I was also dealing with sort of this thing of like, I'd been making videos for like 7 or 8 months at the time, and I hadn't seen any traction at all, really. I had like 50 subscribers. I had like, maybe 500 accumulative views. And the Legacy of Kain video came out, and it just exploded way more than I expected it to. And now I was sort of faced with this task of like, hey, do that again. Like, you have to do that again. And it has to be good, because you can't, like, this is your shot, If you fuck this up, it's over, you know? And so there was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of like imposter syndrome, just me being like, I can't do this. This doesn't, I'm not good enough for this. I just got lucky, whatever. And you see a lot of that in the video. I talk about that in the video, and I think doing that video, it got me through all that, and it was a very formative piece of the puzzle.
Nice, very nice. Way to tie that all in. Well, I feel the need to ask because, like, or I guess I might not have mentioned it on camera. I've watched every one of your videos. It's a habit I've picked up with people I interview. I will go onto their channel, proceed to watch anything and everything that they have, depending, because I know somebody's gonna go on my channel and see my interview with Cobra and be like, so you sat down and watched every
video?
Absolutely not. But in your case, you only have a handful of videos, which makes that very good, because even though they're long, there's not too many of them. Mm-hmm. What made you pick the videos that you did? I know, obviously, Legacy of Kain is the biggest one just due to its size and you covering, a whole lot of information. But you have done a good number of the Silent Hills already, and we'll just leave it at there for now. What makes you pick the games you decide to?
Well, I mean, it started with 13 Sentinels, and it was really just I just decided that like that was just a game I was playing at the time, and I really liked it, and I didn't see a lot of people talking about it. Right. So I was just like, oh, I'm going to make a video on this. And the same thing with Concrete Genie. I just it was a game that I was like, man, this game made me feel something kind of weird, and nobody's talking about that fucking game. So I should make a video on it. But at a certain point, it became, there had to be other factors involved that I had to choose. A series has to be special. It has to be worthy of talking about.
Right.
It's got to be. It has to have had an effect on me at some point, in some way. It also has to be sort of, it has to be, neglected. Like, people haven't really talked about it. But if it's not neglected and I still want to talk about it, I have to have something to say that people haven't said. Or at least like with Fable, there was nobody that was talking about Fable the Journey. Nobody was making like a long ass video on Fable the Journey. Nobody was talking about the books. Nobody was talking about, like, there wasn't a one-stop shop to learn everything Fable. Right. In the whole place. And those games affected me in a pretty interesting way. So that sort of fit. And I think Silent Hill is the same thing. It's had an effect on me throughout my whole life. And there's a lot of people that have talked about it, but there's a lot of people that have got it wrong. And I think I don't even really have to say much about it, but I think the discourse on Silent Hill has been pretty bad for quite a long time, aside from a few, interesting people.
Quite a long time. I'll agree with you. But no, I get what you're saying, and I mean I can't really say much just due to the time I've spent playing them, especially when I was younger, even to this day. If I ever started like retrospectiving video games, a Silent Hill would definitely be one. It would have to be, at least up until, and nobody really agrees with me, but my favorite Silent Hill game, The Room, I think that's just underappreciated and people don't give it enough love.
It is. It's very underappreciated. There's a lot of them are underappreciated, and this is sort of one of the points I'm going to touch on in my full retrospective. And it's kind of what I've been doing the past like week or so, is like figuring out, now that I've played all the games, now that I'm done with all of the individual videos, what's the point? What is Silent Hill? What happened to it? What are we getting wrong here that I need to say? What do I want to say about the series? And that's one of the things that I want to touch on, is that, a lot of these games aren't that bad, but because they exist in the shadow of Silent Hill 2, a lot of people would like you to believe that they're the worst thing that's ever been, created. And that's just not true. They're not great, but they're not terrible.
No, I actually, I remember. You remember GameFly?
Yeah, I do.
GameFly? Do you ever sign up for that?
I had it in like early high school. I convinced my mom to get it for like maybe a year, and I don't think I used it very much. I was trying to get PlayStation Platinums at the time. I was trying to get platinum trophies, so a lot of the games I had her order were just like Megamind. Like I got the Megamind game because it was really easy, because it was a really easy platinum trophy. And I just used it for stuff like that. There was a couple games. I think I got like the new Tomb Raider off of there when it first came out and stuff like that. But
when I got my first job, I was working. I had some money because I didn't have to pay bills or nothing. God, miss those fucking days. And I was like, I don't know what possessed me to do it, but I got GameFly. I ordered Silent Hill Downpour. I never sent it back.
Oh,
I canceled
nice.
my card.
Copped it.
I took it. I just took it. And the worst part about it is I didn't enjoy it when I was younger.
Yeah.
I just literally kept this game that I didn't even like. I was a shitty person back then. I just kept this game I didn't even like, and I was like, "Yeah, fuck you, GameFly. Yeah, I ain't shit." But I remember playing it then, and I sure did. I played it and I beat it, and I was like, "Yeah, that sucks. That's not really Silent Hill. That sucks." But I got older. And I remembered I went to GameStop one time. I got Silent Hill Downpour and I got Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh.
You say that, but no, it was not as bad as everybody made it out to be. Was it a good game? No, I won't say that either. But
I think a lot of the thing with that game though was paying $60 for it.
Yeah.
Because that game was like 4 hours long.
When I got it, it was $5 though.
Thing. $5?
$5.
That's a good price for that game. That's not a bad price for that game.
I paid like $8 for Downpour. I paid $6 for Duke Nukem, and I copped them both.
I got me and my dad were so excited for Duke Nukem Forever when it came out, because we just heard it hyped up for so long, and like Game Informer had done a bunch of articles on it and everything, and we got the bust version. There was a collector's edition version.
Oh my god, did you really?
Yeah, it was like $100.
Yeah.
And it came with a bust of Duke Nukem, and we play. I beat it that night.
Yeah,
like the night that it came
very
out,
short.
and I was just like, wow, was bad. That sucked. I was like a kid. Like it was the first time as like a kid I was like, this was a bad game. Like holy shit.
So when I say it's not a bad game, I think maybe the proper statement is it's not a bad representation of Duke Nukem. It's basically what the fuck Duke Nukem was, just in like 3D on the 360. Could it have been better? It could have absolutely been better. Could the story have been better? It could have absolutely been better. I would have preferred it to have been longer and like had more thought put into it. Actually, I think that might not even be a good statement because it took how many years to come out? They put too much thought into the motherfucker.
Yeah, they put too much. Yeah.
But I always loved Duke Nukem. I didn't really like Doom growing up. I never played Quake. But
Yeah.
Duke Nukem was that fast-paced, I guess arena shooter. It's not an arena shooter, but it's that kind of gameplay.
Boomer shooter. It's a boomer shooter.
Boomer shooter.
Yeah.
I will always. I have the HD collection on my Xbox, and I was so excited when that came out because I was like, yes, I get to play actual Duke Nukem. It's great.
Yeah.
But I'm getting sidetracked because Silent Hill Downpour doesn't deserve. I agree with you. It doesn't deserve a lot of the flack that it gets. And that's from playing it as like older me who could actually look at it and try and appreciate it for something separate than just being like, oh, this doesn't feel like Silent Hill, fuck this game.
Yeah, it's I mean, they're definitely like the whole problem with all of most of the Western Silent Hill games is that they're just not Silent Hill games, and that's the biggest issue that people have with them, and that makes sense to a certain extent. It's a good criticism. I've used that criticism quite a bit because I think that it holds true, but they're also Silent Hill games from a different perspective, a different cultural perspective. It's taking Silent Hill from a bunch of different cultures other than Japan.
Yeah.
And it's fine to not like them, and they're not great games. A lot of them aren't great games. But they're mostly competent. Like it's just, this is the thing, like for me is like, when like other series that I've done, like the shame of Fable is like Fable the Journey, right?
Yeah.
It's a very bad game.
Yeah.
It's nothing at all like Fable. It's almost unplayable. Like it's so rough to get through. I mean, like you see in the video, there was a breaking point with me where I was like, my brain broke. It was how frustrated I was with that game. Like the shame of Devil May Cry is like Devil May Cry 2 and DMC.
See,
those are really bad games.
I don't
like,
agree with that.
Okay.
I think
okay.
I think Devil May Cry 2 is a good game. It is a little slow, sure, yeah, but I love Devil May Cry 2. DMC can get fucked though. I agree with that.
Okay, well let's say DMC then. Like DMC is like kind of a huge bastardization of like what made Devil May Cry interesting, and it was so much so that like the developers were saying like Dante is a loser.
Yep.
We're gonna make him cool,
Never
like
in a
imagine if
million years.
that had happened to Silent Hill 2. Imagine if they remade Silent Hill 2 and Climax was like, James is not sad. We're gonna make him actually sad, and then he just like turns out to be like an emo kid or something. Like it would be insane. But Silent Hill's like shames aren't even really that bad. They're just like okay, But because they exist in the shadow of Silent Hill 2, they seem like they're the worst thing ever created. So it makes sense because they're trying to live up to some of the best horror that's ever been created.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I don't know. I suppose, like, to be completely honest with you, there are a lot of Silent Hill games that I haven't played just due to the fact that I haven't really played too many of them since, well, Downpour.
Hmm.
But what's the one on the PSP or the Vita, whatever that is?
Book of Memories.
That's the dungeon crawler one, right?
Yeah, that one's bad. That one's really bad.
I actually want to try it.
It's not what you think it is. I've heard so many people say that game's like it's not Silent Hill, but it's a good dungeon crawler. It's not a good dungeon crawler.
Damn.
It's not. It's not a good dungeon crawler. The combat is really weird and awkward and like chunky, and it doesn't feel like if you imagine like Diablo or something.
Right.
How like, you know, when you get to a certain point, you're just like blasting through enemies and you feel very powerful, and you know, it's just, it feels good to play. It doesn't feel good to play
That's
at all.
awful. That kind of
Yeah,
breaks
it's
my
not good.
heart because
I'm sorry.
like a while ago I bought a Vita literally just to play fucking Persona 4, and
Oh yeah,
then a couple months later, lo and behold, Persona 4's added to fucking Steam, and then all of a sudden
I almost
this big ass
I almost
purchase
did
I
the same
spent
thing.
didn't fucking matter. I was pissed, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm always looking for games to get on my Vita.
Yeah.
Just because there are games that you can only get on it, and that was one of them. And I was like, you know, it's an alright dungeon crawler, I've heard, but it's not.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I have a weird opinion or something. I was originally planning to do a full individual video on that game, and then I cut it out of the schedule and I just put it as like a small section in the full retrospective because I was like, there's nothing to say here. Like, it's just a nothing game. Like, there's no point.
I'll sell
I'm not
you a
gonna talk
Vita for
about it.
$75.
I have one.
Damn.
Well, my buddy has one. He let me borrow it because he did the same thing as you.
Oh, so your buddy's
He
never
was-
getting it back.
Yeah. No, I'm keeping it.
No. Well, I think now is an appropriate time. I have a couple more guests that are less willing than the first gentleman, but, you know, they're here nonetheless. Gonna ask you a couple, let's say 3 questions. I'm gonna play one clip at a time, though, so you're only gonna
Okay.
have to answer one question at a time, unless
Okay.
there's more.
Okay.
So let's go ahead, and my editor will get this one rolling. Let's start with this guy.
What's going on, everybody? Glad to be here. Fuck you, Robbie. You ain't shit. Sup, son? Love your word. Here to ask you a question today from the fans. Ranking PS2 games from my childhood. When the fuck's part 3 coming, cuz?
Yeah, so part 3 is in production. We just got funding from big studio. We just got casting was just finished. So we're in production. We're filming. But you know, it's just, you know, it's been in the works for a long time. It's about 10 years. Richard Linklater's on to direct. So we're trying to do the real aging thing, you know, like he did in Boyhood.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's gonna be a while. It'll be a while, but it's gonna be a good product when it comes out.
Is Pepsi helping?
Pepsi is helping the funding. Buy Pepsi Nitro in stores today.
Not a sponsor. No, that gentleman. That's probably the biggest question in the community outside of your name. Is when the fuck is part 3 coming out? I offered to pay that
Yeah.
man $20. He told me he'll just do it for free. This next gentleman, though, he's not as happy to be here, but he doesn't have a choice in the matter. Roll the damn clip.
Hi, you guys. My name's Tony Two Questions. They probably call me that because I ask too many questions. But I'm here tonight to keep my namesake and my legs intact. Homeboy Robbie said if I didn't come and ask a couple questions, he was gonna break my legs. So here I am, asking 2 questions. Your favorite son. What's your idea for your next series, and when can the fans expect it? There you go, Robbie. That's 2 questions. Fuck you, you mook.
What are my ideas for my next series, and when can fans expect it? I had a stream the other day, and I asked people to give me suggestions to see if anybody guessed what it was going to be,
Nice.
and they didn't.
Nice. That's even better.
Yeah, but I've had people guess it before. Like, I've gotten requests for it before, but nobody guessed it in the stream. So I was like, okay, that's cool. So, I don't know. I'm not going to say what it is. I have decided what the next series is going to be. I'm not going to say what it is here. I'm planning to do a reveal stream probably the first week of June. I'm moving. And then as soon as the move's done, I want to do that reveal stream and sort of let everybody know. And then the first video should be out from that series June 12th, 1 week after the Silent Hill full retrospective comes out. So it'll be it's quick coming. We're going right into the next series.
Very nice. You are definitely a man with a plan. I share that same
Oh, yeah.
sentiment. I'm definitely going to break Tony's goddamn legs.
That's a good plan.
But, you know, that's really cool. And, you know, I got to be honest with you. I'm very excited to see, you know, what you got going on in the future. I'm definitely going to be around for it. But
Hell yeah.
that pretty much wraps up that section of this interview. And I got some random questions, you know. I got things that didn't really have a place or a category. So, you know, I figure it's almost like a lightning round. You don't got to put too much thought into it. Just, you know, what comes up. What was your favorite job?
Aside from YouTube?
Yeah.
I haven't had very many jobs. I've only had 4, I think. I guess my favorite one was I was a quality manager at a plastics plant for 4 years, I think. But I worked with all of my friends, and it was like a family company, so we just kind of fucked around all the time. So that was pretty fun. Worst job was I worked at an insurance company for 4 days, I think, maybe 5 days.
Nice.
And that's not the type of person I am. I'm a very loyal person. If I get a job, like, I'm gonna stick there. It was bad. It was bad. I was selling insurance, in virtually a call center kind of environment. And yeah, I did it for like 4 or 5 days. The hours were really long. It was insane. Like we would get there at like 11, and work for like 6 hours, and then we had like an hour lunch, and then we would work for like another 6 hours and leave at like midnight. It was crazy.
Yo, fuck
Like,
that.
I hated it.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
have
you
made it
didn't-
a day.
It was all commission. You didn't get paid hourly, so like it was sucked. It
Oh,
sucked.
definitely fuck. See, my last job, I did the exact same thing. I was a salesman. I had an environment that I had to sit in for extended periods of time. No, I didn't actually get breaks and stuff. I just had to be there. But it was all commission. But yeah, no, fuck that. You have to be a certain type of person to be a salesman.
Yeah, I hated it. Drained. Just those 5 days, like I was like, this is the worst. Like, is this the rest of my life? This is what the rest of my life's gonna be? Like, I'm fucked. It's over. Yeah, it was bad.
Well, that's a pretty good lead into my next question. What makes a person good?
What makes a person good? Thinking about empathy, philanthropy, whether financial or just, you know, sort of helping other people emotionally. And cool. They have to be cool. Coolness. You know, they have to be like a cool person to be around. You know, you ever just meet somebody and you're like, you suck.
Yes,
You're
I
the
fucking
worst.
have.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just I can't, you gotta be cool, you know, you gotta just chill the fuck out and just stop, you know, those kind of, yeah.
Deep answers.
That's what makes a person good.
Deep answers from the heart today. What's your favorite anime?
This is, I hope I can't do lightning round stuff because I think too hard about everything. I mean, I make like hour-long videos on like one video game. I think too much about everything.
It's all good. I didn't mean to cut you off again. The first time really was an accident. The second time was even more so because I was just trying to explain that you can go back. I was just being an asshole.
Probably Demon Slayer. And that's like a really cliche answer to give, I know. But it's just so good. Everything is top notch. The voice acting is really good. The animation is beautiful to look at. And it's also one of those ones where I think it's going to become my favorite anime because it's one of my favorite mangas, and I'm excited to see like the further arcs. But I also really like JoJo and Yu Yu Hakusho. I've been watching that a lot. I've been watching Fist of the North Star, which is really good.
3 of the best animes of all time. God, keep going.
Hokuto no Ken?
Oh my
Hokuto no
God.
Ken? Yeah, I've been watching that lately, which is really good. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm excited for Chainsaw Man. That's like my most anticipated one. That one looks really good.
I'll be honest with you. I don't really watch a lot of new anime, but that's just because I'm not in the circle anymore. But I did just get a really bad inclination to watch Ping Pong again.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Oh my God, Ping Pong is so good.
Haikyuu.
Yeah.
I love Haikyuu. Haikyuu is fantastic. It's the most wholesome thing I've ever seen in my life. It is so good. And the manga is really good too.
Do you think the day of the hero is dead?
Um,
Do you think we can still be heroes, son?
I think, I mean, I would like to think so, but probably not. We probably are relegated to being like our own little heroes, you know? But that doesn't, just because you can't be a big hero doesn't mean you still shouldn't do it.
No, absolutely. I completely agree. I think everybody has it in them to be a little good. I think everybody should be heroes. So what's better, Resident Evil or Silent Hill?
Fuck. Man, I don't know. I'm trying to think of how to get out of this question. I would say overall impact, like if you take the best Silent Hill game and compare it with the best Resident Evil game,
Okay.
Silent Hill, 100%. But if you take the overall, like average every game's like individual score out that you give it and compare that, probably Resident Evil.
Do you ever wonder why I never came back?
Every day.
It's because you didn't just say Resident Evil was the best game series. No, actually,
I'm sure some other people are gonna say that too.
No, the question that I actually had wrote down was, does Silent Hill do horror better than classic Resident Evil? But I wasn't looking and didn't read it properly, so I just kind of paraphrased. Do you still stand by
the answer to that question is yes, it does horror. It does horror better than probably. I mean, the first 3 games do horror better than probably any other horror game ever. I don't think anything's really come close.
Yeah, I can't argue. I was about to be like, no, maybe, but no. Parasite Eve was pretty good, though.
Yeah, I think it gets a little more complicated if we start talking about indie games, but AAA games, like big studio games, it does horror better than any. There's no other game that does horror better than Silent Hill. It's not a contest. Like, what do you have now? Outlast?
Yeah.
Like, we're in the era of like Outlast amnesia horror, which
you run, you don't fight. You just run all the time.
It's just not good. And that's fine. Like, that's a fine concept, but it's just it's I don't know. It feels very uninspired. Yeah, so
I feel
part
that.
3 is...
Do you ever wonder where we go when we dream?
Is in production. We just got funding from
big studio.
I think you go to the Akashic
where
Records
we just
and you
got
access
casting
the
was just finished.
you access the true library of Lemuria.
And, so we're in production. We're filming.
And you're allowed to. Your
it's just,
brain
it's
generates
been
Joe
in the
Rogan
works for a long
DMT
time.
that takes you
about
past the
10
ice wall,
years,
and you're
Richard
allowed to
Linklater's
see
on to direct.
what the government
so
doesn't
we're
want
trying to
you
do the
see.
real aging thing.
You think
know,
lizard
like we
people
did
are
in
real?
Boyhood.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a while. It'll be a while, but it's gonna be a good product when it comes out.
No,
Is
that's a
Pepsi
psyop.
helping?
Pepsi
Who's
is
your
helping
favorite?
It's a
fund,
psyop to discredit Alex
buy
Jones.
Pepsi Nitro in stores today.
Oh God, no sponsor. Oh Alex, what a guy. No, that gentleman.
Tell me, son.
That's probably the biggest question.
Who's
in
your
the
favorite
community
interviewer?
outside of your name? Is when the fuck is part 3 coming out? I
Louis-
offered to pay that man
Oh,
$20.
you.
He told me he'll just
What's
do
my
it
name?
for free. This next gentleman,
Home
though,
Dad Robbie.
he's not
You're
as happy
goddamn
to
right.
be here.
Thank y'all,
but he doesn't
everybody,
have a
for
choice
watching.
in the
This
matter.
interview has been great.
Roll the damn clip.
Son, you've been a great interviewee. Don't ever forget who's the best, though. Y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. If you managed to watch the entire thing, I'm sure we kept it interesting enough that you did. Be sure to subscribe. If you have any questions that you would like to ask the son himself, leave them down in the comments. If I did good enough that you laughed, maybe you enjoyed the acting, please be sure to hit the like button. And none of this would have been possible if it was just me by myself. So please offer the same courtesy to your son. Go to his channel, subscribe, watch his super long videos. And is there anything you'd like to say before you go?
Bye, Dad.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.